Good day, everyone, and welcome to this keynote on embracing the future. I'm going to talk to you about how you can use the latest technology, such as generative AI, to growth hack and grow your business and really benefit from these new technologies. Now, my name is 𝗚𝗵𝗴 𝗁𝗂, and I am a strategic futurist, which means that I help Fortune 500 organizations and governments all around the world understand these emerging technologies. I've written a few books about this, and I really like to, practice what I preach, as you can see from my digital twin on the screen as well. I've actually digitally cloned myself, and it allows you now to talk to me via text, audio, and video in 29 different languages, including in Hindi. My digital twin will come by a little bit more often during my talk. But for now, I think it's important to know that I do consider myself as an optimistic dystopian, which is a bit of an oxymoron, I try to, on the one hand, hold an optimistic perspective as well as a dystopic perspective to sort of understand how these technologies, such as artificial intelligence, is going to have an impact. Because in order to end up in a thriving digital future, we need to know how these technologies can be misused and we can mitigate those risks. And I will sort of show you a little bit of both during today's talk. It's important to note that we have arrived in the future. Took a long time, but we're here, and the future is really, really exciting, especially because we are really going through a digital renaissance. And this is a renaissance that, not like the original renaissance from a couple hundred years ago, would last 100 or 200 years. No, this is a digital renaissance that will completely change and disrupt our society in the next 5 to 7 years. So before the end of this decade, I believe that our society will look fundamentally different. And that is thanks to these new technologies. Because generative AI, these large language models that you've heard of, have really pushed us into exponential times. And together with the convergence of other technologies that will happen and appear in the market in the next couple of years, such as quantum computing, the metaverse, blockchain, which is really taking off at the moment. And the convergence of these technologies will fundamentally change how we run our society all around the world. Fascinating times, also a bit scary, I have to admit, because there's a lot of unknowns happening in the coming years. But one thing that I think is really important to be aware of is for any type of organization, whether you are a small business or you're a medium-sized enterprise, it is important to be aware of that every organization nowadays is a data organization. Regardless of the product or the service that you offer, you have to look at your organization from the perspective that you are a data business, that you are a software company. That data should be at the heart of whatever you do. And that is a bit of a gestalt shift, as it is called. You see your organization from a different perspective. You're no longer a product company, but you are a data organization. Now, if your organization is a data organization, then every industry, by definition, is a data network. So now we have a situation or a society where you have industries who are connected through data, and data really is the new oil. If you don't have your data in order within your organization, it will be very, very hard to start leveraging these new technologies that are now become commonplace in our society, and that are also, as we'll see, have become quite easy to integrate. But unfortunately, recent research from the Reuters Institute showed us that only a very small number of organizations are actually using these technologies. This research shows from several different countries that, of course, everyone knows ChatGPT. Well, in fact, not everyone. Almost half of the population of the people surveyed are not using or have not even heard of ChatGPT. So while I, as a futurist, I live in this AI bubble and I really believe and think about emerging technologies all day, that's not the case for the vast majority. And then if we look down the list, we see other technologies that I will cover, including, for example, Midjourney, that very few organizations have actually used or actually heard of. So this means that there's also an opportunity. The fact that you're here, the fact that you are willing to learn and to embrace these new technologies shows me that you are already at the innovative side of organizations. And you want to leverage these technologies to stay ahead. Because today, if you want to innovate in today's world, it really requires a different mindset. It really requires you to put the data that you should have and that you should have in high quality, to put it to work and to really embed smartness in everything that you do, in all your customer touch points, in all your processes. Only then can you truly be innovative. Because in the age of AI, everything will work differently. And that sounds a bit strange, but it really is the case, because AI is that a disruptive technology that it will affect everything that we do. Because for the first time, we have a technology that can make decisions autonomously. Never before in the history of humankind have we had a technology that could make these decisions without the interference of humanity, of humans. But now it is, and therefore it requires you to rethink your organization. Now, if we look at organizations of what are some of the biggest challenges that SMEs ran into, I sort of looked at myself. I'm a small business myself, and I looked at what are some of the challenges that I run into. Limited budget. How can we use this technology if it's so expensive? If we hear these billions of dollars being poured into these large language models, how can we as a small organization actually use this technology? The second is customer acquisition. How can we use artificial intelligence to improve our customer acquisition? And how can we craft the right message? How can we use technology to better link and interact with our prospects? Well, I'm going to share a few examples of companies who have been using this technology to do exactly so. And I'm going to give you some tips to understand how you could do so as well. How you could leverage this technology to become this data organization and to be at the cutting edge. Because unfortunately, there is still a skills gap. And this is research from India, where we see that when it comes to emerging technologies, it's very unclear for many organizations how to apply these technologies, how to use them, and therefore it is important to educate yourself. So let's go straight in, because artificial intelligence is a $15 trillion opportunity. And that's a $15 trillion opportunity by 2030. So that's 6 years from now. So imagine we have a technology here that can add $15 trillion to the global GDP. That's an enormous opportunity that is there for you to leverage. And as Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, recently stated, AI will be as disruptive as the printing press, the steam engine, electricity, computing, and the internet. And probably what he meant is all combined. That disruptive is artificial intelligence. But let's take a step back, because artificial intelligence has been around for a very long time. It's not that all of a sudden, since the launch of ChatGPT, AI came out of nowhere. No, in fact, it has been almost 80 years in the making, when for the first time in the 1950s, Alan Turing envisioned these so-called thinking machines. And his objective was to create thinking machines that will be able to think independently within a decade. Obviously, we now know that quest was a lot more difficult than he anticipated back then. Since then, we have seen multiple AI winters where it looked there was a lot of progress being made, and then all of a sudden nothing happened. But in 2017, everything changed. That was when the paper, Attention is All You Need, was released by 8 scholars who were working for Google. Unfortunately, Google at that time didn't see the importance of this paper, because all researchers left Google and started companies that you are well familiar with, such as OpenAI or Anthropic. And since 2017, we have seen the hype of artificial intelligence. And with the launch of ChatGPT in November 2022, everything changed. It was then when I decided to test how far off-the-shelf technology already is. And I started to write my 5th book with ChatGPT. And it took me literally 5 days to craft an entire book about future technologies and their implications for society. And that's also when it hit me. The world had changed, and it will never be the same again. Now, that's where we are today. And today we've seen the launch and the rise of generative AI. For those unfamiliar with the term generative AI, it basically means synthetic content created by AI. So that is AI, that's content that can be text, can be audio, can be video, it can be entire virtual worlds that we can spin up out of nothing using AI. Well, it's not really out of nothing, because obviously it is trained on vast amounts of data, of which you might have read in the news. There's a lot of debate around copyright of the data that's being used to train these models. But it's important to know that generative AI landscape is a lot more than text and images. And the slide I showed earlier, which showed about ChatGPT and the Midjourney, the image creators, but there are so many more tools that are at your disposal nowadays that you can use to leverage within your business. But things are changing really, really fast because one company, OpenAI, is really embracing this technology and is pushing new technologies almost on a weekly basis. So maybe by 2024, a lot of these startups and tech companies that you see on the screen might have been integrated within OpenAI. That's how fast the world is changing at the moment. We're really living through exponential times, and if you snooze, you lose is really the case here. You have to pay attention of what's happening. Now, what we see happening is that the basis of all these technologies are foundational models, these large language models. And of course, these large language models are all the hype within the investment industry. OpenAI rival Mistral is only a year old and is already looking for a $2 billion round. We have Amazon investing $2.75 billion in the AI startup Anthropic, as well as a new startup company called 𝗘𝗺𝗯𝗿, which doesn't even exist yet, only has a basic website, and managed to raise a seed round of $220 million only recently. It sort of shows you that the world there's a real hype going on, and nobody wants to miss out on this new technology. And that's not a surprise, because I believe that by 2030, there will be two types of companies. One that leverages AI, and the other that doesn't exist anymore. So if you're not planning to leverage this powerful technology, I think you'll have a very, very difficult time to survive in the long run. Now, let's have a look. How can you embrace AI to growth hack your business? How can you leverage artificial intelligence to improve your organization and to really benefit from the technology that's out there? First of all, let's start with how you can use AI to improve your search engine optimization. Of course, search engine optimization is important, though I must admit, I'm not sure for how long that will be the case. Because with these large language models, increasingly people are no longer going to the Googles of this world, but they're asking a question in the search engine. In the large language models. However, I think it's still important to focus on your SEO for your organization if you want to grow tech your business. And I'll give you an example how I have been doing this. So I have been leveraging these large language models to automatically create thousands of pages for my websites focused on the very, very long tail. And the very long tail means, search queries in Google that maybe receive 100, 500 of search queries per month globally. But if you are targeting that long tail, then you will appear on top. So I have thousands of pages crafted with AI to focus on the long tail that might receive 1 or 2 or 3 clicks a year. But when they do, they're very much on target and they exactly reach and provide the information that the user is looking for. Now, I'm a small organization. I have a couple of people working for me. So if I can do that, it means you can do it too. There are companies such as Byword that you can use where you can leverage these large language models to craft content for you using AI. However, I think it's important to be aware of that it's a very thin line here, because we don't want to fill the internet with only automatic generated content. That's where if we would move too much in that direction, I think as a society we have a problem. But at the moment, you can use this technology, and Google actually allows it to use this technology to craft content with AI to improve your search presence on the internet. So I would very much recommend you to do so. Now, if you look at marketing, we have now tools available to basically take your marketing in-house. Instead of hiring a marketing agency, you can do it yourself. Now, if you are a marketing agency, you have to work very, very hard to still be able to convince the organization that they want to work with you. And one way to go is to really leverage these technologies unlike any other. And you see some images here which have been created with I believe DALL-E, as is one of the other image generators models, and you can really be creative. Now, if you take an image generator and you take a large language model, you have all you need to craft powerful and very personalized marketing messages. Because you use the ChatGPT of this world to craft the message. You then can even ask ChatGPT to come up with a prompt for an image. And you can then put that prompt into an image generator to get the image that matches the marketing message. And then you just stick them together with a tool, for example, such as Canva, which has all kinds of AI tools embedded in it. And here you go, you are just increased the capabilities of your marketing department by tenfold. Really powerful technology that you can use. If we take this a step further, we now have automatic video creation. This is a video from Sora that went live a couple of months ago, and really has the capabilities that you, with a single prompt, you can create any kind of video. Now, only recently, like a couple of days ago, 11 Labs announced that they now allow the creation of sound effects with a simple prompt. So now you can create videos with sound from 11 Labs, and you can create your commercial messages on the spot without having to spend thousands of dollars on a filmmaking company. And this is being used. This technology where we have sort of create deep fakes of videos or even of people is actively being used. I've created one myself, but also in India recently, Mr. 𝗘𝗺𝗯𝗿, I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly, I apologize if I mispronounced it. He resurrected himself for the Indian election, and that caused quite a stir when it happened earlier this year. Through deepfake technology, which is readily available, platforms such as Synthesia or HeyGen, you can digitally clone yourself, and you can then use that technology to spread messages that are hyper-personalized for your customers. So customer A can receive, let's call her Alice. Customer Alice can receive a message where you say, "Hey Alice, how are you doing? Have you heard about our product?" And you can use that same video to target customer B, but you just change the name of the customer to, let's say, Bob, and then the same message reads, "Hey Bob, have you heard about our product?" And you do that at scale, and you don't have to retake all the videos. That's how powerful technology nowadays is. If you want to take it a step further, you can actually start using these AI models for cold outreach. I don't know about you, but I don't like cold outreach. And cold outreach is one of the hardest things for people to do. So why can't we use AI for that?
Hi, this is Sophie from Bland. I saw you filled out our online form. Is now a good time?
Yeah, now works perfect.
Perfect. Can you tell me a little more about your business?
Yeah, we're trying to automate our political campaigns phone calls.
That's a really interesting use case. I'd love to get you set up with an appointment with one of our reps. Does next Thursday at 3 work?
Yeah, it works great.
Great. We're looking forward to chatting with you.
All right, bye.
So that's how easy you can, just with a simple API integration, you can integrate AI within your business for cold outreach. Now, pay attention to what you saw on the screen, where you saw the milliseconds in response time. So Bland.ai was launched only a couple of months ago. And that was pre the launch of ChatGPT 4.0 that was launched a couple of weeks ago. ChatGPT 4.0 is taking everything to another level. And what they have done with this video, Synthesia, one of the avatar or deepfake generators, have made the connection between ChatGPT 4.0 and a video avatar that you can talk to.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there, it's going great. How about you? I see you're rocking an OpenAI hoodie. Nice choice. What's up with that ceiling about? Are you in a cool industry-style office or something?
Well, can you take a guess at what I might be doing based on what I'm showing you here?
From what I can see, it looks like you're in some kind of recording or production setup. With those lights, tripods, and possibly a mic, it seems like you might be gearing up to shoot a video, or maybe even a live.
So a really cool example of how you can start to integrate a deepfake technology with on-demand large language models to do your outreach. So this is technology that's available today that you can implement. It's off the shelf so that you don't need any large budgets to do so. Now, if you want to really take it a step further, you should create your own large language models. You should fine-tune your own large language models, something that McKinsey did last year. McKinsey created Lily, which was named after the first female employee working for McKinsey in the 50s. And Lily, the large language model, is really fine-tuned based on all the data they have from the past 70 years. So this is really a large language model, which is McKinsey. And they are giving this technology to their employees, to their clients, so they can talk to McKinsey and learn from 70 years of data. Now, obviously, your data needs to be important. And what McKinsey did requires a lot of money. But fortunately, if you are a small or medium enterprise, you don't have to spend the same amount of money as McKinsey did. In fact, I mentioned it before, I've done it myself. I have created a digital twin of myself. It's trained on around 5 million words. And you can talk to me in 29 different languages, and it knows everything about me that I have learned, taught, said, written, or delivered as keynotes in the past 12 years. If I can do it, a small, very small organization, then you can do it too. So really start leveraging these technologies to growth hack your business. Because this is the future of work. This is how you integrate, how we will automate work using AI agents that either are a digital twin of yourself, of your organization, or are automating the processes within your business. Let's look at an example. An example of a company who has done really, really well with this is Klarna. You might be familiar with Klarna. Klarna is a buy now, pay later organization, and they have integrated ChatGPT in their customer service department. As a result, their call duration went down from 11 minutes to 2 minutes. Their customer satisfaction went up by 25%, and they saved $40 million a year by firing, mind you, 700 staff. Recently, they also started integrating these generative AI tools in their marketing department, such as I explained earlier with Midjourney or ChatGPT, saving another $10 million because they no longer had to rely on tools such as Shutterstock or copyright images, because you can create these images on the fly. Great example how you can leverage this technology relatively easily. All right, so what I think is really, really important for SMBs to embrace technologies is to start today. Because the world is changing so fast around us. And so my recommendation would be to start embracing these large language models, like the examples I've just been given, because that will help you embrace generative AI already within your workflows and will help you improve your productivity and your efficiency. One tip here, go pro, because there's a big difference between the free versions or the pro versions, even with the launch of tools such as Claude 3.5 or ChatGPT 4.0. It will really help you embrace these new technologies. But most importantly, start embracing the new technologies, because there are so many new technologies. There are thousands and thousands of technologies appearing almost on a daily basis. Here you see sort of an overview of these technologies, and I can't go into depth about these at all because there are so many, but it is important to have an open mind of the new technologies that are out there and start embedding AI in everything that you do, because that's where you can have these productivity gains, it's the efficiency gains, where you can offer a better, a more customer-focused solution for your customers, and that's of course what it's all about. Now, what I do want to stress that regardless of whether you will adopt AI for sustainable growth, you also need to have a strong tech ecosystem. One that connects the challenges of today, of your business, one from an efficiency point of view, as well as an innovation point of view. It is important to recognize your organization's technological needs and use a strong tech ecosystem to boost your growth. Because in the end, technology is neutral. And it is also about embracing technology in the most human way, so that we do it in a responsible way that benefits your customers. And that is, of course, a lot more than AI. Because if you want to really be able to embrace AI, you need to have a strong data foundation. A strong data foundation in the cloud or on premises or a hybrid combination of the two is what is absolutely vital in today's fast-changing world. You need to have a data strategy in place that will give the right employees access to the data, to high quality data. You need to make sure that you collect the data at a high quality level, so you don't have to fix that later. Because only if you have the right data foundation in place, then you can start to integrate and combine it with different technologies, such as Internet of Things, such as blockchain, such as artificial intelligence, and these large language models that I have been discussing. I think that combination where we have a data-driven, a tech-focused approach, really driven by the human approach to technology, is really, really important. Because as I said, technology is neutral, and it is how we as humans embrace this technology and create solutions that are really customer-focused. And I really would like to recommend you to start seeing technology as the catalyst to innovate, as a catalyst to drive change for your customers, and to really offer solutions and gains for your customers that they are looking for. Because technology is so important. And I believe that every organization is a data organization nowadays. That means you need to have the right data foundation. It means you need to have the right technological systems in place. You need to work with, you sort of build a future-ready tech ecosystem for your organization. And if you do that in the right way, and you work with the right tools, you are ready to embrace the future. You're ready to thrive and to build a thriving digital future for your organization. Now, how can you start tomorrow? Now all these lessons that you've received, how can you start tomorrow within your organization? My first point is start educating yourself. Really learn the future and become skilled in the future of business. That means experiment with these new technologies that are out there. Start playing with the various tools, and that means take 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes out of your week to experiment with a new tool and see how it has an effect on what you do on your workflow. And maybe you use it, maybe you don't, but at least you start experimenting and you start being up to date with the changes. Because the world is changing so fast at the moment. If I'm on a long haul flight and if I don't pay attention, the world has changed by the time I've landed. And that's how fast the world is changing. So try to stay up to date. Try to educate yourself, experiment, and finally start trying to execute. Build and integrate the best tools in your business tomorrow by the lessons that you have done. And if you do that, I do believe that you're building a thriving digital future. I thank you very much for your attention. And if you want to learn more about how you can embrace technologies, you can download the summary of my talk for more information. Thank you very much.